Well, Ernie, we're still working to find out the details on this, but now that the sun has come up, we came back to the scene where this happened so you could get a better look.
We can't get too close now because of these barricades that police put up about an hour ago, but throughout the day, we watched as this memorial over here just grew in size. To give you an idea of just how strong those winds are, take a look at this fire station right here. The roof completely blown off, and then if you follow us this way, you can see parts of it blew as far as across the street. But tonight, those big questions still remain. Who left this baby alone and why? He said it all happened right here in this driveway, and over this way you can even see a bullet hole straight through the window. Although he was severely injured, police records say after Officer Acosta was shot, he was able to drive himself to a safe location. Yeah, Daryl, and this appears to be the center of the investigation here. If you take a look down this way, you can see that there's still a section blocked off with police tape here, and several officers with MPD and the ATF are here on scene. Also, MPD's Central Command Unit is also down this way. If all goes to plan, this land will soon become Tennessee's newest state forest. We are here at Mallory and Robin Hood Lane, and this residential area is where police say they last saw those suspects involved in the chase. And I'll take a step out so you can see what's going on. It is still an active scene right now. They're understandably very shaken up about this. If you take a look, you can see there's still police tape lining this house on Gore Avenue. And over this way, just a few minutes ago, we saw some people, including a child who was in tears, that came by and placed that light and those bears on this mailbox here. From your tires to your battery to your AC, your car can really take a beating, but you don't have to be a car expert to protect it from the heat. If your AC starts going out, the first thing you can do is check your coolant levels, and you can find that in this white plastic container next to your radiator. Damian Eccles and his attorney said they are very disappointed in this decision, but they said their fight is not over, and they said they're going to continue to do what they can to get that DNA tested. Feel like a free man right now?
Some days. Some days yes, some days no.
Boxtown is probably the oldest community in the city. I've lived in Boxtown all of my life. It's a beautiful place.
For Bastel Booker, Boxtown is home.
We love our neighborhood. We take care of each other. We're a close-knit neighborhood.
It's that tight-knit family feel Booker said makes his community so very special. His family has been here for generations, and his children grew up here.
We're children standing on top of our father's shoulders. It's a continual recycle of the same people.
Walking the familiar streets with neighbors that have turned into family is a weekly tradition, but you won't see them outside without a mask.
We're protecting ourselves from the air quality, the chemicals in the air, and some of us have allergies.
The low-income community founded by former slaves is plagued by pollution. The Valero oil refinery, which over the years was part of a $4.25 million penalty over pollution. The TVA Allen fossil plant now shut down and replaced by a natural gas plant. And refined metals, now a federal Superfund says.
You have people that's dying. A lot of people are dying with cancer and other issues.
If you could explain the smell you experience when you step outside, what does it smell like?
Sometimes I wake up early in the morning, about 5 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I smell this awful scent in my home. I can't hardly breathe.
Just a few miles away on Florida Street, another concern for people in South Memphis. In August, the EPA told the city that sterilization services of Tennessee could be putting out hazardous fumes into the air. The plant uses a colorless, odorless gas called ethylene oxide, or ETO, to sterilize medical equipment. Caroline Freeman with the EPA says breathing it in over a long period of time could cause cancer.
This is a risk that if I'm exposed to it for, from the time I was born to maybe the age 70, that, I would have a greater chance of developing some form of cancer, may it be breast cancer or lung cancer.
Remember, many of the families in these neighborhoods have been here for generations. Less than a 2-minute drive away, the health department shut down this cotton gin on Mallory Avenue in December for permit violations and pollution concerns. Instead of smoke, cotton gins emit particulate matter, which is similar to dust and can get into people's lungs.
If the particle size is small enough, it can cause irritant into the airway and cause irritation in people's airway. It also can enhance those individuals that have lung issues.
Larry Hopper is a respiratory therapist at Baptist Memorial Hospital in Memphis. He said these kind of irritants can be unknown killers to people over time.
If you're born in it or you're raised in it and you have to stay in it long periods of time, then you don't know. It becomes natural to you, so you don't know it's a problem.
Do you think that the people in these communities know something's wrong?
People may not know that they're being exposed to this particular cancer-causing carcinogen, but I guarantee you people know that something is wrong.
For Justin Pearson, anguish runs deep. He and his family grew up in the Westwood community near Boxtown. He lost both his grandmothers to cancer.
Because they didn't have a whole lot of money, because they weren't rich enough to live away from the pollution, right? Their lives were deemed less valuable.
That's why Pearson founded the group Memphis Community Against Pollution by knocking on doors and sending out mailers. He's made it his mission to educate people about what's going on.
Those voids that are happening in our families, we can't fill those, but we can fight, and that's what we're doing now.
We always ready to stand together for a fight for our neighborhood, Good God-fearing neighborhood.
As the sun sets on another day in Memphis, neighbors like Booker say they will rise to fight for cleaner air. And they're gone. If you've driven in Memphis lately, there's a chance you've seen them. Groups of people crowding busy intersections with signs and buckets in hand. Their story, hard to ignore. They're claiming to raise money for a child's funeral.
No, cause that fun.
It'd be different pictures, but they look the same.
Walter Bryant has seen the signs and even considered donating, but he grew suspicious after finding them on several street corners.
Because I have seen so many of them, and I don't see how it could be that many every day. Sometimes they're in the same area.
Fox 13 ultimately found them at 3 locations. At Poplar and Highland on September 10th, Perkins and Summer on October 29th, and Park and Highland on October 31st. You can see the signs look similar with red and black uppercase lettering. They all read, "Please any help, God bless," at the bottom. The words stay the same, but the faces of the children do not. So we wanted to know, is this sob story a real one? I'm so sorry for your loss. Can you tell us who this girl is? Can you tell us how you know her or what her name is? Ma'am, we just want to help out. Is there any way you could tell us what happened to this girl? When it comes to getting people to give money, Daniel Irwin with the Better Business Bureau said high-pressure tactics like this are very common.
When you see a sign on the side of the road, you've got a split-second decision to make. They're hoping that you decide to give because of the emotional pull that you'll get.
He reminds you to vet any charity or organization before handing over cash.
When you give money to something like this on the side of the road, you really have no way of knowing where your money is going to. And in a situation like this, it's highly unlikely that your money is really going to help that person in need.
One driver had this to say of anyone who would profit off a tragedy.
You people are wrong. And if the MPD don't get you, God gonna get you, because he do not like wrong. And that, you don't want God to get you. So please, whoever doing these scamming here in the city of Memphis, please stop.
And it hurts me because, I was ready for her. I wanted my other baby.
A pink and white crochet blanket, a tiny pink bonnet, and an ink footprint no bigger than a bottle cap. It's all Trinicia Moss has left to remember her baby girl, Darnicia.
Cause I barely had time with her before she passed.
Instead of planning a baby shower, Moss is now planning a funeral. She was just over 21 weeks pregnant when she prematurely gave birth to Darnicia.
I didn't get the help that I needed. And I feel like they let my baby die. And I would have died too.
Moss lives in Tunica, a small town in northern Mississippi about 40 miles away from the closest hospital. Doctors told her from the beginning that her pregnancy was high risk. So when she started having unusual pain mid-October, Moss made the drive to Baptist Memorial Hospital in South Haven to see a specialist.
I'm telling this man I'm hurt. I'm telling him I feel something cut me. You should keep me here. You should put a baby monitor on me or something if I'm already high-risk pregnancy.
Moss said the doctor told her her pain was likely caused by a urinary tract infection and high blood pressure and sent her home. But that night, the pain became unbearable.
I started bleeding real bad. And about 2 o'clock, I called the ambulance. They got here around 3.
Moss was going into labor by the time paramedics arrived.
They didn't help me at all. They didn't try to stop my labor. I was begging them for help. When I asked them why they didn't help me, they stated that they had to wait on the fire department. I'm scared for my life. Blood pouring down out of me. Why is y'all waiting on the fire department?
Moss was taken back to Baptist DeSoto.
And the same doctor, he came in there talking to me, talking about he's sorry. I actually told him to get out of my face.
Baby Darnicia didn't make it.
I got to hold her like maybe 10 minutes before she passed.
A devastating outcome far too common in the Mid-South.
We know that better outcomes are associated with early and consistent prenatal care, and that's kind of the gold standard.
According to the March of Dimes, more than half of all counties in Mississippi and nearly half of all counties in Arkansas are considered maternity care deserts. That's a county without a hospital or birthing center offering obstetric care. In Tennessee, 32% of counties are considered maternal care deserts.
Many rural hospitals don't have obstetricians. They have general practice doctors and they have other professionals, but they don't have obstetricians. So often women who live in rural areas have to travel great distances to get quality OB care.
Lack of care is a major contributor to infant mortality. Mississippi has the highest rate of infant deaths in the country. Arkansas is 49th. Tennessee is in the bottom third. Joelle Archibald is a coordinator for the My Baby For Me program in Memphis. In partnership with the NAACP, she works to reduce infant mortality by providing free educational classes to expectant mothers and transportation to doctor's appointments.
You know, having the care available 5 miles from your house isn't any good if you can't get to and from those appointments or keep those appointments.
Archibald said the disparities are felt deeper by women of color, who often aren't taken seriously when they say something is wrong.
We need to give women credit. They know their body, and even if it's their first pregnancy, they often have a sense that something may not be right. If you don't think something is right, seek a different provider, seek a different care system, seek higher level care until you're assured that everything is okay with your baby.
Moss said her 4-year-old daughter was ready to be a big sister.
She say her sister with God, but sometimes she asks me why her sister can't come home, why her sister not at home.
Her time on Earth was short, but Moss said Darnicia's life mattered, and she'll always be a part of their family.
I just wish they would have helped me so she could be here with me, because I would have been a good mom to her. Nobody was going to touch her. Nobody was going to bother her. She was going to be spoiled. She was going to love me and her sister. And, you know, she was going to love me here.